Ground ball. McClain, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Elly De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? Aaron is back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it 5-4.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. This will win it. This will win it. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause, and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now. Swung on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. He's gone. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
What's up, Reds fans? What's up, Max? It's a big night at the ballpark tonight. As you all know, it's the Snoop Dogg night. It is August 11th. It is Snoop Dogg night at the ballpark. I'm sure the crowds will be crazy tonight down in the infield portion of the stadium post-game. But I'm hoping they have something else to cheer for, and that is another Reds win tonight. Max, what do you think?
Yeah, this is one of the biggest games of the year. Big opportunity tonight with the Mets not playing. They win, they're 1 back, so it's a big one. And they made a big lineup change too, as I'm sure the people can see on the screen.
Yeah, we'll get into that, into the lineup changes. That's really our biggest thing tonight to talk about outside of the post-game concert, which I'm sure people down there are excited, already lined up to go to. Max, let's go ahead and just jump right into that. How about you go through the lineup, some of the biggest changes that we've seen, and I think you had like you said maybe earlier, a take about the lineup and the guys that are there, or in this case, not there.
Yeah, so as you see on the screen, Friedl leading off, Steer hitting second and playing first. That's probably the biggest change in the lineup. Elly Hitting third, of course, Miguel Andujar DHing, hitting fourth. He had a great series in Pittsburgh, hit the ball hard. Gavin Lux hitting fifth and left, Marte and right. Stevenson catching, McLean down to 8, and Hayes at 9 with Abbott on the bump. No Austin Hayes today, no Jake Fraley today. I think those are the two biggest names out of the lineup. And I think there's a chance we don't see much of Austin Hayes against right-handed pitching for the next few games at least. I mean, he's like 3 for his last 50 or something. I probably should have pulled that up, but he's been terrible to watch. Like he's swinging at everything. And then yesterday he was just swinging at breaking balls, 3 feet off the plate, looking like Javi Baez or Nick Castellanos. And then he just took a fastball right down the middle to strike out in a big spot. I definitely don't mind Hayes not being in the lineup, but it does stink for Fraley because he crushes right-handed pitching. But there's no spot right now. Marte hit the ball well yesterday. Andujar hit the ball well. Steer had a couple big hits yesterday. So it's pretty simple. Tito's just riding with the hot hand right now.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me too. I think we've gotten to the point where, and I think maybe for a mix they're doing it, but he's playing so well, Marte. So I'm going to talk about that you really can't even say it's this way. But I think earlier in the year you were playing for, hey, what do we got? To a certain degree, I think they're still doing that with McLean to a little bit, but I think they overall value his defense too. But what do we got in these guys? That's why it was hard to see, hey, why don't we just give Reese Hines a shot? Just give Will Benson a long-term shot. I think they felt like they didn't give him the best chance to win that game. And we've seen Tito talk about that time after time. And you're seeing that with Andujar tonight. Andujar, Marte, Lux, they're all hitting. And that's where Fraley just doesn't get the opportunity to hit. I am wondering how long they keep with Austin Hayes, even on the roster. It makes me wonder if this foot's still bothering him, if some other things that, if something else flared up. Very injury prone. That's why the Reds got him on the cheap. When he's healthy, he certainly is a great ball player. I mean, everyone wanted to sign him to a 2-3 year extension back in April and May. I'm kind of glad the Reds didn't do that in August now. But these next 7 weeks are going to be a blast.
Well, I hope they're a blast. There's a chance they're not. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be fun. Yeah, I mean, I do wonder about the Austin Hayes thing. He could be battling something. If he wasn't the prized possession of the offseason and the biggest addition they made, I think there's a chance they just DFA him, truthfully. I don't think that'll happen because they gave him a lot of money, but I mean, he's like the 4th, 5th most confident, I don't know, confidence I have in an outfielder right now that we have. Like, I would rather see Friedl, Lux, Marte, Fraley all over Austin Hayes at this point.
I had to look at his, and I see Jacob Doyle, and he's always here, so I believe what he says. So Jacob, help us out here from time to time. Don't put any fake news in the chat. But if there is a mutual option, which I believe I remember that, there's also got to be some sort of buyout. I'm just not cool with them dropping the buyout right now per se. Maybe you pick it up, trade them. Whatever. It's probably not likely. But it certainly is possible. No, that would shock me if they released him, but
I don't expect it, but
no.
I mean,
you certainly are going to be riding the hot hand here until it's not the hot hand anymore. And Andujar, I didn't see it live. I watched the replay, but Andujar's home run yesterday. Holy crap. That was just a rocket off the bat and just a violent swing. But everyone's different. I mean, Noelvi Marte's home run to center field was just majestic. I mean, you can't, that's a picture perfect home run. Yeah.
And I did just look it up. So it is a $12 million mutual option for Hayes with a $1 million buyout. So they're not really
So that's, yeah.
Given much, it's not much.
No.
Even for Big Bob and in his office down there. But yeah, I don't mind giving Hayes a day. I wouldn't mind giving him 2 or 3 days. He's looked so bad at the plate, and he was so hot earlier in the season. Like maybe there's a chance he catches fire
Yep.
again. Especially against left-handed pitching. Like I like if they don't play him again against right-handed pitching, and you just roll with, a platoon of Fraley and Lux in left field, and then Marte in right, I'm totally fine with that. So yeah.
Yeah, I am interested. I mentioned earlier, and I'm the resident optimist, like super optimistic about the Reds. Even back in 2022 or whenever they lost 100 games, there was a shot that they could have gone to the playoffs in my head, at least in April. So I'm always going to look on the positive note with this team, and they've always let me down for going on 21 years at this point. Some earlier in the season than later, and we've all lived that life. Yes, I don't want to talk about 2012 Reds anymore, but let's talk about the last few weeks here, because this week to me is the most important. Obviously the game in front of you to me is the most important, but this week we have the Phillies, and tonight's really the easiest game against Taijuan Walker. To me, it's a must-win game, and then you play the rest. Walker tonight. Tomorrow is the lefty. And then who pitches tomorrow, Sam?
I think it's Ranger. I think
Rangers,
it's Ranger,
Juarez,
and then Sanchez.
And then Christopher Sanchez. And then we got the Brewers, which I'm with Trace. Trace last night, guys. Let's get fired up for the Brewers. Get fired up for the Brewers game. We need to pack the house. I'm looking at tickets. I am. It's a busy weekend for the Wallace family. Busy weekend. We are 5-0 this year, Max. So I'm looking for tickets already. We're 5-0. And really, I'm looking for the back, like September. I might just go to every game if we keep winning. But back to this week. This week's big. You have the Phillies, like we said, and then the Brewers come in. I'm okay with a 3-3 week, especially if the Mets continue to fall down. I highly doubt that's going to be the case. We can't count on the Mets to continue their downward trajectory. However, I think if the Reds finish this week 3-3, that is a win. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Tonight is, I don't really believe in must wins in baseball unless it's like complete do or die. But if this was do or die, and if it's not do or die, but if it was, this is as close as you can get to a must win. Taijuan Walker on the mound
right?
Tonight. Yeah. Like Taijuan Walker is a guy the Reds should hit. He's a contact pitcher. He's not going to overwhelm you with velocity. They should get to Taijuan Walker. Like if they don't get to Taijuan Walker at the way he pitches in 2025, then that's not good, especially with Ranger and Sanchez coming up the next 2 days. So tonight is huge. You talk about the Brewers series this weekend. I'm going Friday. I haven't been to a game yet this year, so I'm very excited. You've been on that podcast grind.
You've been on that podcast grind, Max.
Yeah, seriously. This is the longest I've been without going to a game. It's killed me all year. And I think Friday there's a chance it's Chase Burns. So we'll talk a little bit more about Chase Burns and Jacob Mizorowski. So that would be awesome. But yeah, tonight's a huge game. Maybe the best lineup that they've had for a while out there. So this is a big game.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Let's talk about the news from today then. You already talked about it with Chase Burns. So I'm going to break down what it looks like Mike Petragula. I'll give him a shout out from X.com. A couple things I saw that he put out here this afternoon. So first off, I guess Tito Francona, not a huge Snoop Dogg fan. Not sure if he's sticking around. He did not give the yay or nay. I believe he did give a Snoop Dogg reference, though I don't have it pulled up to say it, and I don't think I'd say it right anyway. But doesn't seem like he got a ticket for the infield to be front row at the Snoop Dogg concert. So that was notable. But the real notable things, and I'll start from least important to like most talkable at this point. Rhett Lauder seems to be out the rest of the season. My personal opinion is you would see him, and I think I said this a few weeks ago, you're going to see him in the Arizona Fall League to get some innings. They'll protect him, get him ramped up for spring next year. Kind of a bummer overall, though. And if you have anything to add, Max, add it. With these young pitchers, and they're so weird about it, and we're going to get to it with Burns, is just the inning count. He just can't get his innings up while he's on the IL, obviously. Hopefully just getting him in Arizona will get him some experience for this season.
Yeah, it stinks. I think he originally went out in spring training with an elbow injury, and whenever that happens in spring training, it just kind of derails your season. Then he had, I forget, maybe was it an oblique injury
issue,
again? Yeah,
Yep.
and those are that's just a terrible injury for a pitcher. So it stinks, and hopefully he can get healthy. But this elbow thing still worries me because if you lose him again in the spring, gets TJ, he's out 2 years.
He's out 2 years. Yeah, don't quote me on it,
So.
but it sounded like that's not a non-issue at this point. Now, as you know, it can creep up to anybody anytime. So let's not act like he's immune to it. But I think that the oblique was a pretty significant injury, and it was his non-throwing side. Then Nick Lodolo, Mr. Blister himself, he threw a Pilo ball, which for those who don't know, it's a weighted ball, the same weight as a Major League Baseball, I'm sure, but with no threads on it. So he's not touching anything with his finger. It's not getting agitated, as you would assume. So he's able to throw that. And they're still waiting, to see how that finger reacts. But related to this is the big news of the day. Francona, Derek Johnson, and company did meet with Chase Burns. They put out there that there is an innings limit with him. They did not say how many innings, but his role could and will change because they don't want to shut him down, Max, but they are going to limit his innings. What do you think this looks like? Or what would you, I'll give you two questions. What would you do with Burns? And then what do you think the Reds do going forward?
So Chase Burns right now, this year is sitting at 100.1 innings, including all leagues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, he has not thrown 100 major league innings this year. And his career high is exactly 100 innings at Wake in 2024. So he's 1 out over that this year. So I think we could be coming up on that limit soon. I think there's a chance we only see him 2 or 3 more times on the mound, which stinks. Because I think he's one of their best pitchers at this point. But I don't think it's that simple to just throw him in the bullpen like a lot of people want. I don't think it's just that easy. Maybe they can use him as a bulk guy or something. Go 3 innings with him and then 3 innings with Martinez, something like that. I wouldn't mind that, honestly, especially when Lodolo's back. But yeah, I don't know how they should handle it, truthfully. It's tough. It's a tricky situation. I kind of just want them to take the gloves off and let him eat the rest of the year. And just let him go. I know that's tough because he throws consistently 100 miles an hour, the nasty breaking ball. I know that's tricky, and you don't want to, put him at risk. But if he feels good, I mean, he was throwing 101 the other night. He didn't look tired. And especially that, and he was coming off a little bit more of a break because the Braves thing in Bristol was a complete train wreck or car crash, to keep the NASCAR theme going. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to see them let him eat, though.
So this is how I think it's going to happen, and I think this is what I would do as well. I think you're going to see him be the opener. I think that allows Burns to keep with his current routine. You pitch 2 innings or so, and then you let Martinez or whoever come out of the bullpen and go from there. To me, that's really how this is going to work out. The thing that maybe, even if you can get Martinez for 3 innings and then let the bullpen go, and I don't have the rotation, right off the rip here, but, he's going to pitch, what is that, the 15th? Is that Friday the 15th? So possibly has 3 more starts in August. Then you're able to pull up another bullpen arm in September. That gives you some more flexibility to keep him as the opener going into September. So you say, okay, I got 2 innings. And of course, all this is dependent on 2 things. If Hunter Green comes back and he comes back healthy and stays healthy, and if Nick Lodolo comes back and his finger doesn't bother him, that's it. If not, guys, we're looking at Chase Petty coming up and taking the reins from Chase Burns. So I'd like to see some of these guys from like Double-A, just for the heck of it. But we'll see. A lot of comments in the chat, Max, about Snoop Dogg. Everyone, I think it looks like everyone's excited. Shout out to our guy Everett Henry, big Chatterbox fan, always in the chat, bringing us back to the time the off the bench crew claimed that this concert cost the Reds from signing someone better than Austin Hayes. So nice shout out to our friend Everett. But it's gonna be interesting. This team is going to drive us nuts, I'm sure, between now and then at the end of the year with Burns and everyone else, the lineup. Max, anything else to go over tonight? We talked about the lineup. We talked about some of the news coming out of the presser this afternoon. Anything you're looking forward to tonight?
Yesterday I thought Elly had some solid swings. He needed some solid swings. He pulled 2 singles, then went first to third on a base hit. So from Andujar, I believe. This is the time I think that Elly needs to turn it up on the base pass. I want him to be double the aggressive he's been. Like I want, if he's on first tonight, I want him to run right away. Like don't wait until there's 2 outs or whatever. Like go. Like just get to second base. Like you are one of the fastest people in the world. Like I think he's been far too non-aggressive on the base pass. So now's the time. You're saving yourself for right now. We're in the thick of a playoff hunt. Like there's no better time than right now to get going.
Yeah, I think overall too. I think, and I've been saying this for a few weeks or just thinking about it in my head and, talking to myself about the Reds, which, thanks Nick and Trace for the opportunity because I get to talk to at least a few more people than just myself this season. If this team can just hang around and I think that they can, by next week, they can be in the wild card spot. I think they can be. And I say next week just because you just never know, right? A game up and down this week, you just never know how it changes. If they can wait it out until the end of September, and we've seen this team be streaky. We've seen a lot of cold streaks for a few guys. Earlier in the year, it was, you can't put it all on Elly. Well, he wasn't doing great either. We can see some of these guys go on streaks like Elly, Steer, Lux, Marte, all at the same time. Watch out. These guys can go on a run, win 8 of 10, and they're right in this thing. And I'm hoping it's a fun last 7 weeks. But Elly is the key to it all.
Yeah. He is absolutely the key. And I think another one right there is Friedl. I've said for a few years that Friedl's the engine to this team. When he's going, he makes everything. I feel like he makes everything go at the top of the lineup. Especially if he's getting on and Elly is 2 batters away. But yeah, this is now the time for Elly to go. He's been a slap hitter for the last month. Thank you, Chris Valleca, for making our best hitter slap the ball to left field. But I would like to see him turn on it and hit it into the river.
So
personally,
we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. I did not play high enough level baseball or have enough time to study anything or look at numbers of how Chris Valleca has affected anybody. I'm not saying it's true or false. I just don't know. I haven't done it myself. I will say, though, right or wrong or indifferent, I have to give a shout out. I'm sure he's not listening. If he is, that'd be kind of cool. But I did see where former Red Zach Cozart kind of chimed in on this debate and said like what Valleca is preaching is really how he hit and how everyone hits. It just depends on what kind of hitter you really are. And the tweets out there or the posts on X is out there. But to your point, though, I'd like to see, I just don't know if Elly would ever be a 40 home run guy. I think he's really a 30, maybe high end 35. I just think he has more to his game than just selling out for the home run.
Yeah, and I to be clear, I don't want him to sell out. I was being a little dramatic with him being a slap hitter, but I don't want him to sell out for the home run ball because he's got so much speed. He gets on first or second, you automatically have a chance to score a run. So I definitely think him getting on base, and he's walking a lot more too, which is nice. But I don't know. Every once in a while, I would like to see Elly just turn on a ball. It's been a while since he's really been on that kind of torrid pace. He homered like a week and a half ago, but now's the time, like I said, for Elly to get going.
But Elly should never gone a whole month without a home run either.
Correct. That was bad.
Yeah.
I don't care how much he was walking. You can't go a month without a homer at Great American Ball Park of all places.
Exactly, especially with the right field fence. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. You look up and down this lineup. Obviously, Friedl lefty, Elly switch hitter but lefty. Gavin Lux, we've talked about it, has no power, which is just shocks me to death. But really, I mean, look at I skipped Steer because he's a righty. Andujar's righty. Noelvi Marte is a righty. Stevenson's a righty. McLean's a righty. Just very right-handed heavy. Overall, of course, we have Fraley on the bench tonight. Benson's obviously in AAA, but man, a big left-handed bat. I wonder if there's one from Middletown that might be interested in coming here next year, which would be huge. I mean, we're facing the Phillies tonight, and you can't do any loans, and the Phillies wouldn't be interested in loaning out Schwarber. But man, what a big piece in this lineup he would be if the Reds could land him next year. But that's way ahead of our skis here.
Yeah, 4 years, $120 million. Sign now, Schwarber.
I
want to say I'll do the Phillies lineup just real quick.
Yeah, hit it with us.
Trea Turner leads it off. Automatic, he's gonna steal second if he gets on first. Kyle Schwarber, future Red, hitting second. DH and Bryce Harper hitting third, hitting 206 in August after a really good July. Real Muto catching and hitting fourth. Nick Castellanos hitting 203 in the second half. Plays right field. Harrison Bader, Reds legend, in center. Otto Kemp at third. Edmundo Sosa, former Cardinal, at second, and then Weston Wilson at left. And one thing I want to say about the Phillies is they used their bullpen a lot this past weekend. Yohan Duran went the last two games, got saves both games. Matt Strom, one of their lefties, out of the bullpen through the last three games, so I don't think we're going to see him. Tanner Banks, another one of their lefties, through the last two games, so he's probably available, and I bet Strom's down. But I think that's interesting. If the Reds do late in the game use a pinch hitter, use Fraley for Andujar, can they counter with a lefty? So I think it'll be interesting. But it'd be interesting to see how Tito uses his bench and Thompson uses their bullpen. But yeah, I do think tonight we're going to see a Jake Fraley pinch hit, and I would say it's for Andujar if I had to guess.
I'm hoping we don't, Max, only because I think the key to this win is the Reds just getting out front early, and that's it's almost like whoever scores the most runs wins, or in football, whoever scores early and often wins. Well, no duh, But for the Reds, it just seems to be that is their mojo this year. If they don't score early before the fifth, and I remember saying that in April, it just seems that they don't get over the hump with whoever's pitching. Now, unless it's just a horrible bullpen, I think they did it in Washington maybe. But I'm really I'm thinking these guys come out firing right away this afternoon. I think Andujar is a hot hand. I'm glad they're riding him in the 4-hole tonight. I'm just interested in is how long it's going to last and what's the next trick up their sleeve. Really, is it because these guys? I think that again. I said it earlier. I'm just super optimistic about it. Always am. Always will be. I think Francona's got him right where he wants him, and they're ready to start winning. Consistently more than they have been.
Yeah. Like we were talking about before the show, I look at the lineup and I just can't stop thinking about how Sal Stewart would look in this lineup. I was just I didn't
picking that up
expect
because
him
I
here
was
to.
trying to fold this in and I was running
Yeah.
out of ways to do it without just asking you.
I didn't expect him to be called up today, but I think we're getting to a point where it's just hard to keep him down. And where do you put him in the lineup? I don't know, but you find a spot for hitting. You do it. There's I would rather him be at DH tonight than Andujar. I would rather him be at second than McLean. I know McLean's defense is great at second. He had that terrible play yesterday, but he is a good defender at second.
Mm-hmm.
So and especially going into this weekend, a team that we've struggled with so much, we cannot beat the Brewers. It's just how it is. We can't beat them until I see it. And I haven't seen it. I don't know if you have, but we haven't. So why not? Why not just go Espinal down, Sal Stewart up for a spark? And I'm just tired, and I like Espinal, but I'm just tired of the Espinal thing. When he came in the other night to play first as a defensive
I'm glad I
replacement
missed that.
instead
I
of
don't know
Spear,
what I was doing, but I missed that.
I could not believe that happened. I thought Steer was hurt. He was in it as a defensive replacement at first base. He hasn't played first before this season, and he was on to play defense at first. So that's half the reason I want Sal Stewart here, just so we can be done with the Espinal thing.
So I've been on here a few weeks ago, and let's just keep talking about Sal Stewart for a second. I was on here a few weeks ago talking about, I forget, maybe it was you. I've been on with a few different guys lately. Maybe it was Sam or whoever. But the Espinal thing, he's here for Elly and he's here for Marte. Let's just everyone needs to know it. That's what he's here for. He's here to mentor those guys. I don't disagree with Jacob there. The Cabrera Hayes, and I love that trade. The more and more it's here, I love it. But at the deadline, I think Tito made a good point. Oh, the fans, he's like, if I were a fan too, I'd want a huge, big bat, huge trades. But we're not playing MLB The Show. And he said it, something along the lines of, this is our team. We're a team. These are the guys we're going with. And to a certain degree, they've got us this far. There's been a few changes here and there. Hines up, Benson up, a few bullpen arms. And then, of course, you add Hayes, you add Andujar to the hitting side of the lineup. And you have to make some choices. Connor Joe went down. Obviously, I'm not a Connor Joe, stand by any means, but this is the team. And I just don't see them calling up Stewart to then say, sorry, Matt, we've used you all year. You're not playing second anymore. Sorry, unless something just falls apart of the DH or there's an injury. To me, that's the only way Stewart gets called up. And I still don't know if they want him to be an everyday DH. But I just don't, I'm guarding my heart on that. I just don't think they're going to be calling up Sal Stewart. I really just would shock me, even after September 1st.
Yeah, I've upset John in the chat. He's very upset that I crushed Santiago Espinal, who I think is a fine player, but I don't think there's a role for him.
Well, John, I know you don't. I don't think you're talking to me, but I've coached Upward Soccer 2 years in a row.
Yeah, sorry, John. But and we need to wrap up. But so the roster expands September 1st. They can add up to one pitcher, and they could do they could just do 2 position players, but they're going to do it.
They're going to
based
add a
on the
pitcher.
position
Yep.
player. Yeah, there's no way they don't. So I'm gonna, and people in the chat, you can answer the question as well. Who would you rather see them call up as a position player? Sal Stewart, Will Benson, or CES/resigns?
I think it's all going to depend. If they think they need an outfielder, it all depends. I mean, I just think.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be.
I did
Benson.
forget Hector Rodriguez. Put Hector Rodriguez in there instead of CES. He's not coming back.
I don't think it's going to be either of the 2 young guys. Because here's what happens when you do that. Number one, they have to play. I would at least assume. And then you then basically say, Benson, you're done. Or maybe they've already have done that. Maybe they've already done that and said, Will, you're done. Hector Rodriguez, if Hector Rodriguez gets called up in September before Will Benson, if you're Will Benson, you know for a fact that you've lost it with the Reds for whatever reason. And I don't think publicly they're going to want to do that. That's to me, that's my opinion. I think it's going to be Benson or Hines, because I don't think CES. I think CES is a DH or a first baseman, and unless Steer gets hurt or something, I mean, who else could play there? I think Andujar can play first. Estebanal can play first, of course, and Lux can, I think, in a pinch. Who I know you're a Sal Stewart guy, but do you really think they're going to call him up? I just don't.
I do. I think he's absolutely mashing in AAA. Like, he's smoking the ball. And I don't know. If they call him up in September, I don't think it's like, all right, you need to play every single day, because we're not going to lose 100 games. We're in the thick of a playoff race. Like, if he comes up, he would have to be mentally prepared for the fact that, hey, I'm the top prospect in the organization right now, or arguably the top one. So I gotta, play my role. And if he gets hot, that's great. And I think there's a serious chance he comes up and provides a spark.
And I think I would say this, my only caveat to mine, and maybe I'm just answering the question with 6 different answers. If they need a spark, then I think he does get the call. But you would have to be in a real bad spot. Now, granted, 20 years ago, I think you're right. He gets the call because you could add up to 40 guys. And, they had added 6, 10, whatever.
That was insane looking back.
Yes, looking back on. I mean, it was just crazy. I remember the 1 year sidebar, Didi Gregorius got called up with a few other guys. And he was number 68 for 2 games. And then he switches number to 25. And it's why don't you just give the guy 25? Which, again.
Or when they called Billy Hamilton up and he had the biggest uniform of all time, he looked like, that was hilarious. Looking, his September when they called him up rocked. Actually, he only stole bases. That was all. Yeah,
that was awesome. Fantastic. Was that 12 or 13? 13, I think.
13.
I think SP Hobby is actually right. I think it's going to be Connor Joe. Connor Joe provides as a corner bat, first base. He can play outfield. I think it actually would be Joe over Benson. I really do. And then obviously,
I would just watch the Bengals then the entire month of September.
I actually
Please don't call up. Please don't.
I don't believe that.
Joe. I'm begging you.
And then I know we have to wrap up here. Then I think it's gonna be Richardson or Phillips or just another bullpen arm. Obviously, that's really what it comes down to.
I wouldn't mind seeing Phillips. We've barely seen him. We know what Richardson is. I wouldn't mind it.
I trust Richardson more,
and they're gonna make a waiver claim too. This is the Nick Crow Reds. They love waiver claims.
I cannot wait for that. I'm glad you brought it up. And dude, me and you could go on for an hour. The waiver claim period, I cannot wait. I actually did look up on my X. I just typed in Bader Reds to see when that happened. There's going to be waiver claims like crazy at the end of this month.
Yeah,
this team could be totally different, and I guarantee you guys, there's going to be another couple bullpen arms that we've never even heard of that'll end up in the Reds bullpen. And I'm interested to see, I haven't seen any articles come out of who could be some options to be picking up on waivers. I think it's going to be a fun last week there, because that 2 years ago, that was wild. Renfroe, Bader, I think were the only 2 the Reds got, but they did put a claim in on that Giolito guy, and that just would have been a wild September.
Yeah. Yep. That team flamed out, though. Hopefully this one stays in it a little longer.
Absolutely. Hey, Max, like I said, I could talk to you all night. It's fun going back and forth and all the things that it's just an exciting time to be a Reds fan. I mean, a couple years ago, last year we were done basically in May. 2023 was a fantastic time. We're seeing these young guys come into their own with the leadership of Francona. Love him, like him, hate him. I think he honestly is a big factor here. And we haven't seen this type of baseball in a decade, really. Plus, outside of 2020, which we all like to forget, and 2023, it's been a long time. So everyone enjoy it. Get out to the ballpark if you can this week. I'm going to try to see what I can do this weekend. I don't know. I'm sure they'll come out with some ticket promo, but watch the Reds tonight. Big time win, or big time needed win. I think it's a must win. Max, you said it earlier as well. Max, any final thoughts, and then we'll sign off.
As close to a must win as you can get for Shizzle. Go Reds.
Well, thank you for the Snoop Dogg reference. I was uncomfortable saying that. Did not want to.
I was enjoying watching you stumble through it.
There's no way. Yeah, I'm actually even uncomfortable talking about Elly De La Cruz and the rocket in his pocket. What a throw last night in that game, guys! Yeah. Big time tonight. If you're at the ball game, please let us know if Evan McPherson is down there watching his idol, Snoop Dogg, along with the rest of the Reds, Elly De La Cruz and the gang. It's a big night tonight, guys. Big night. Go Reds.